trust you're well. So today I want to share with you something very, very important. Something that I feel you may not have seen before. Something that you may be aware of, but I don't feel anyone's out there at the moment sharing the information that I'm about to share with you in this video. Now, we're going to go into a subject and I'm going to share with you information about this subject, and this subject is the fifth dimensional extraterrestrial light body. Now, we all have a light body. We are all predominantly lights. We are lights. You know, in this human 3D dense reality, we seem physical, but beyond that physicalness is patterns, geometry, and ultimately light. Now, at the moment, in space, there are huge waves, tsunamis of waves of light, so powerful, heading towards this planet, and have been heading towards this planet, bouncing around out in the ether for many years. And this light is so powerful that if it came and flooded our world in its purest form right now, the majority of the human race would not be able to handle it. Now, it's lucky that we have allies of the spirit world, not just of the spirit world, but extraterrestrial allies of a kind and compassionate nature that understand the detrimental effect it would have on the human race if these tsunamis of extremely powerful high vibrational light were to swoop across our planet. How devastating it would be for our human community. So they're up there, or out there, wherever they are, deflecting, transmuting, slowing down the influx of this light. Those that are ready to experience this light at the moment, right now, are experiencing small doses of it, and it's enabling people to be more compassionate, to wake up, to become more conscious, to love themselves and others on a deeper level. What is happening is, some people refer to this as an ascension process. What is ascension? People may think or feel that ascension is something where you go up, or some kind of transformation. You know, you'll go into higher realms, you're transmuting your physical body and turning to light, and all this is kind of sort of right. If we break this down and we look at what ascension really and truly is, ascension is unconditional love. It's unconditional love of the self. When you love every facet of your entire being, you start to vibrate differently on a higher frequency, and you start to connect with and be that which you are. And that which you are is light, is love, unconditional, travelling in waves and spectrums throughout the ether, travelling through all things animate and all things inanimate. Light is the foundation, the underlying essence of everything. So when you're connecting and loving yourself fully and unconditionally, you're connecting with the true essence of what and who you are. And by doing that, your vibration goes up. And naturally, we go through this ascension process. And all we're doing is going back to light in this physical form on one hand. On the other hand, no, we're completely leaving the physical behind. But when you ascend and you turn back to light, then you can be in this physical form, and you can also be in a higher vibrational density, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and so on dimension. And it's easier to be in those higher dimensions and to come down into the lower dimensions than to be in this physical 3D reality now and to move up through the dimensions. Because there are so many things hindering us on this planet, purposely put there to stop us realizing how special we are and how powerful we are. So what I wanted to share with you today, or start to go into today, because this topic, even though on one hand it's completely simple, on the other hand is so in depth. And I could talk to you about this stuff for days, probably longer. But I want to go into it today and just start to lay a foundation for us to work from, to us to springboard from moving forwards. You may have read or seen or heard or been to seminars and workshops where you've heard about the light body, the Merkaba that we have around us, and other geometrical patterns that form or create our extended human light body, which then take us out into the ether and connect us to all things everywhere. Now, whilst that is true, there is a part of our light body that no one's really sharing at the moment. Some people are sharing bits of, but they're a little bit confused. Some people are seeing and feeling certain parts of facets of this light body, but they're not seeing the whole truth. And it's great because people are pointing us in the right direction. However, we need to go further. We need to go deeper. And we need to start to comprehend and remember this stuff. Know this stuff. Because we all know this stuff. We've all been connected to it always. We've just forgotten. We've been warped, manipulated, taken away from our essence. And that's cool, because that's part of the human game. Part of this dualistic universe, to kind of get a little bit lost, get a little bit mixed up, and then find our way back home. It's one of the reasons we came down here, to play this game. So, even though on one hand, whoever is hindering this path home, they're just playing their part of the game too. And their part of the game, we might call them the baddies, the Indians, the robbers. But are they really? Possibly, maybe not. It just comes down to perception, okay? And you can view this world however you want to view it. I don't see anyone as good or bad, I just see it as a game. And some of the players that play this game, I'd rather not engage with. It doesn't mean that I think they're bad. I just feel that their vibration is different from mine, and I prefer to be on my vibration and not play into the hands of anyone else. So, this game that we're playing can be speeded up. We can find our way back home a lot faster, and we can allow these lights, these energies that are coming from other star systems, from other planets, from other universes in through our solar system towards our planet and allow them to sweep through Mother Earth once we have our fifth dimensional light body fully activated. And this is what I want to do today, show you parts of this, the basic foundation of it, and then from there we can start to go into what each part of it does in consecutive videos, which part links to which star system, and what the energies and the lights from these different star systems are there to do, because they all have a role and a purpose. Okay, people talk about source energy, and that's cool, but you know what? There are so many different diverse factions, is one way of saying it, out in the universe, out in our own solar system and galaxy. I mean, within our own solar system there are thousands of planets that we don't know about, inhabited planets with a multitude of different races. How do I know this? Because I've been to some of them. Those of you that know my story will know that I've been taken up in a spaceship before to Alpha Centauri, and I've met beings there. I also go and sit in the only way I can describe it is some sort of council regularly, and speak to different beings, or more so overhear and observe different beings and the information that they're sharing, and it's part of what I use in my healing. The reason I call it star magic is because we're all extraterrestrial beings. We came from the stars. Within inside all of us are star constellations, stardust, and to heal the human body is so simple when you know which star constellations to marry up to which body parts, and a whole load of other stuff that goes along with chakra alignment and the star constellations, the different star systems and the different chakra systems that run across the different vibrational frequencies or densities or levels of light body that we go through on this process of going back home towards unconditional love, or not so much towards unconditional love, but to be unconditional love, because that's what it's all about. Just love, 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 love. It's that simple, yet in this 3D reality quite tricky. So what I've done on here is I've lightly sketched out in pencil the basic foundation of this light body. So what I'm going to do is talk you through it and go over it with pen so you can see it constructed. Now, for me, drawing, I don't really like drawing. It seems so slow. When you can see this light all around you, which we're all going to be able to do at some space, okay, at some moment, which is really now, we're all going to see this stuff. And when I see this stuff constructed around human beings, to draw it, number one, I can't draw it exactly how I can see it, but I'm going to do my best to explain it to you today in kind of 2D. And you're going to have to read a little bit into it yourself. So we're going to start, we'll see how we get on. It's the first time I've shared this information, so like all of my videos, don't think about this stuff, okay? If you've watched my videos before, feel this stuff, okay? Come from here, down into here, and feel this information. And you will recognize that you know this information, okay? So, first things first. You might not be able to see this pencil part at the moment, but that's cool. So, in the center here, we have a human being, Okay, this is you, this is me, this is every human being on this planet. Okay, bang in the centre of our light body. Now, around the outside of that light body, or sorry, around this human being, which a lot of people are familiar with, we have two tetrahedrons, okay, superimposed over the top of each other. These two tetrahedrons, they create what most people know as the Merkaba. And a lot of people can see this. A lot of people activate their Merkabas, get them spinning correctly. You've got the male and the female tetrahedrons. And what's important about these tetrahedrons is the star constellations that they connect to. The top tetrahedron connects to one star constellation, to one star system, and the bottom, the female, the Earth tetrahedron, connects to another star constellation. Okay? Now, one spins clockwise and one spins anti-clockwise. Now, outside of this Merkaba, we have an octahedron, which is like two pyramids with the bases stuck together. Now, both of these perform certain roles, okay? This here is for third dimensional spiritual protection. Now, when we're down here in these physical bodies, there are lots of beings out there, some not as nice as others, that want to control the human race. And this, once it's activated, will stop anything coming into your space and affecting you from whatever dimension. But you must know how to activate this, and you must activate it yourself. No one can activate this for you. You can get guidance and assistance, because I've worked with lots of clients to activate these things. However, it's something that you have to want to do yourself and must do yourself for it to be fully operational. Now, outside of this octahedron, you have what is called an activation chamber, okay? So, there is a tube of light that runs from here to here. Some people may refer to this as male and female, but I'm not going to refer to it as male and female, because what we're doing is we're working in a high frequency, okay? There is no male and there is no female. When you meet these beings from these other planets, they don't have genitalia. They are not male and they are not female. They are neutral, okay? So I'm going to call this an in point and an out point. Okay? An in point and an out point. Because we're talking about light here. Okay? Light comes in one way and it flows out the other way. These waves of light, they flow in a certain direction. Okay? And what happens is the light comes in here, it comes through this entire light body, which I'm going to draw the rest of now, and it comes out of the other side and then gets recycled back into what I refer to as a channeled network of light, okay, or a CNL. Okay, and what the CNL does, it connects us as humans to what I would call a spiritual nervous system. We've got a neurological system inside of our body, we have a nervous system inside of our body, and it helps us fire and move and do all the things that we do as humans. And what makes that tick is light, biophotons, and that light is information. Now, this extended, we have our nervous system inside of here, and all the way outside of here, we have this extended channeled network of light. There's actually so much light traveling through the ether that if I was to draw this full and complete diagram, you wouldn't even see the human being in the middle. Okay, there's that much light. So we have to do this in stages. Now, this endpoint actually runs a stream of light the light comes in here, straight down here, down through the octahedron, the Merkaba, straight down through the crown chakra, and it comes all the way out the other side towards the out points. Okay, now in here you have two electromagnetic subatomic spin points. Okay, these aren't the only two electromagnetic subatomic spin points that are in this complete structure. They're right throughout our human body. Okay, it's these electromagnetic spin points that allow the transfer of light into information so we can start to use it and metabolize it as food. But that is a complete and whole other story which we're not going to really go into on this video. Okay, but we can use this light, this higher vibrational light, to feed us. We're like plants, we're like flowers, we're like trees. We don't need to eat food. Food is a form of control. It keeps us locked in this 3D reality. Okay, we don't need it. We need to start to remember how to metabolize light as energy and food. And you can do this through meditation and practice, but we'll do that in another video. So, this light actually runs all the way through. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a thin line. It's a little bit off. It actually goes straight through the center of the human body and out of the crown chakra. Okay, so it's a tiny little bit off to the right, but it should be straight up. Okay, but you get the gist. Okay. If you want to go away and redraw this afterwards yourself, you can do. And draw it exactly how it should be. Now, what happens is when this Merkaba spins, the top tetrahedron spins clockwise and the bottom one spins anti-clockwise once the star constellations activate them. And what is also important, for this to spin correctly, you need to make sure that your heart and your mind connection is open. So you can do that with your intention, okay? Ensure that there is a nice flow of light coming from your heart to your mind, and there's no interference. So you're completely connected with every decision you make. You're completely aware of everything that's going on around you, and you do that by opening this connection. Once that's opened and these things are spinning, this light is going to start to activate within you, okay? And what happens is the light comes up to this point, and it comes down to this point, okay? Once it reaches this point and this point, streams of light, it's like a wheel, streams of light streams of light from here start to flow. Now, there are actually so many streams of light coming out from here that this looks completely filled in. But when you look at it really closely and finely, there is a very, 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 very slight spectrum or gap of space between every single tube. But they're so fine, they're so close together, you know, they're more like this, ever so close together, but all the way around, okay? Now this is the base of what I call the outer shell of the activation chamber, okay? It's the base of the outer shell of the activation chamber. The light also runs up to here, and you've got the same thing at the top. And then from here you've got these spokes of light all coming out. And they're completely straight. They're not bendy like my lines, they're completely straight. Okay, so this is the top part, the head of the activation chamber, okay? Now, these spin. This here, this outer kind of rim, which is like a wheel, it spins. And the laser beams, the light beams that are on the inside, they don't spin, okay? They're just completely penetrating all the time. And this is kind of revolving around in that kind of direction, okay, consistently. Now these 2 points are linked, okay? Okay, now, there's actually more than this. You've got 18 tubes of light here, which kind of connects the back to, or one side of this. Remember, this is a cylinder. This is a cylinder that goes all the way around. So you'd actually have these lines coming from here up to here. Okay? Actually, these lines here, we come to the top of it. You can tell I'm not an artist. It would go like this. So the back side of the cylinder would go to the back up here, and then this side here would have lines coming all the way down to the bottom down here. So around the outside of this cylinder, you've actually got 36 tubes of light, and that is very important. 36 tubes of light, okay? Now, at the top here, you've got the outer shell of the activation chamber. So, what happens is all of this light, this travelling through the ether, comes in through this point here, travels all the way down here, into the human being, through the human being, and back out of the other side, into what I refer to as the channeled network of light. Now, all of this connects us to everything everywhere. There's also another point actually, which is important, very important. Inside every single human being on this planet is a crystal inside of our heads on the right hand side, okay? This might sound a little bit nuts and a little bit crazy, but it's the truth, okay? Inside us we have a crystal, and this crystal allows us or enables us to have a heightened awareness, and it's like a satellite that allows us to connect to all of the information travelling through the ether, and it allows us to scan it and to see it without actually taking this light and this information on board, because the light has to pass through this point. It has to pass through this point, okay? The light can't just come and swoop into you, because if it did that, you'd just go nuts, okay? Well, you may not, but most people would. People would be going into psychiatric units because what they were seeing, you know, people would be locked up in straitjackets. People would be committing more crimes. People would be more murders, things like that, more crazy things, because people wouldn't know how to deal with what was happening to them vibrationally, okay? So a lot of people would freak out, okay? So it's important that this light has to come through here. It has to. This is the way that it was set up by our extraterrestrial counterparts, which we are, okay? We're extraterrestrials living on this planet right now, having this human experience, and we're just returning to source. We've just forgotten all this stuff, okay? I've remembered it, and there's lots of people that have remembered it, okay? And hopefully now I'm waking it up within you, if it wasn't already woken up within you. So this light has to come down through here. Now, This crystal, okay, you know, you see angels and stuff with halos around their heads, okay? We've all got a halo, okay? It's just that most people can't see it. We all have a halo around our heads. We have a crystal in the right hand side of our heads, and out in the front of our halo is another special crystal, which comes from a planet that I've mentioned in my previous, or some previous videos, called Bevericon. Okay, it's a real planet, it really exists, and there is an indescribable life force there. Okay, compassion, beauty that you just could not possibly imagine. Okay, by being down here on this earth, it's just so beautiful. Okay, the kids, the adults, they are just vibrating unconditional love. Okay. Now, so you've got this halo that's kind of round your head. We've all got this, and we've got this crystal that's in the middle, and it comes from this planet Bevericon. Now, out from this thing in the side of your head, this crystal in the side of your head, I know to some people this sounds like complete and utter bonkers, but you know what? I don't give a shit, because I know it's the truth. So inside of our head we have this crystal, and once it's kind of activated, it extends. It's like a radar. It's a bit like some sort of like radio. You know, a radio aerial picks up frequencies traveling through the air. Okay, and what this does, it picks up frequencies traveling through the ether of a much higher vibration. It also picks up things that may not be so nice, that are there to kind of interfere with you, but we're so ingrained in this material 3D reality that all of this stuff is switched off in us. We need to switch it back on. You can activate this stuff through meditation by bringing in these fifth dimensional light frequencies. Once this is activated, then you're going to start to bring in light of an even higher vibration, and it's going to wake up your dormant genetic DNA encodements that carry the sentient, or the information from the sentient species of everything that's ever lived, is living and will ever live, not just from this planet, but thousands and thousands of other planets out there in this unbelievable multiverse that we know so little about, or have forgotten so much about. So this is your activation chamber, okay? This whole thing. This is the point where the light comes in. It's controlled, it's funneled down to here. Then light shoots off in all these directions. It continues on down through the body. To this point, the light shoots off in all directions. This spins that way, and this spins that way. Okay? Once these are spinning, these light beams activate. And this whole thing fires up, it lights up like a Christmas tree. Okay? The first time I saw this, I was working with someone on their Merkaba about a year ago, a client, and then this thing just started to build around them, and I was like, what is this? And I wrote about it, and I didn't really understand it until a few months ago, and I started to get more information, because obviously now I was ready for this information, and now was my time to remember it and share it with as many people that want to listen to it. So I saw this activate around a human, and when I was speaking to my extraterrestrial allies, they explained to me what this was. Now, there's actually a ginormous one of these constructed around our planet, and it's well, it's not the only thing, but it's one of the structures that the extraterrestrials use to filter this information, or this light, of a higher vibrational density onto our planet so we don't go crazy, we don't go nuts. So this structure is around the planet too. Now there's lots of other elements to this light body that I'm not going to go into in this video because it's just too much information for one video. This information is quite a lot of information. Now, there are different planetary systems and star systems that connect to these different facets of the light body, and it's really important that we know what they are, and I'm going to go over that on a separate video. Okay, these points here, some people may call them Alpha and Omega. Again, male and female. And I've heard people talk about waves of Metatron running between two points, the Alpha and the Omega chakra. And whilst this is partially true, it's not actually correct. Number one, these are not chakras. Okay, your chakras are inside of your body. You'll hear people talking about the causal chakra, the soul star chakra, okay, the stellar gateway, the Christ self chakra, okay, and there's lots of people that talk about lots of other chakras that are up, extended from this point up above our body. I've seen lots of different chakra systems, some of them like 25, 36 different chakras throughout the whole system, okay. It's crazy. They are not chakras. However, there is something there. Now, this tube of light that runs from here to here is the main connection point to the channeled network of light, which is the grid system that runs throughout the entire universe and all of the other universes. It connects us to everything, everywhere. Now, as we move up, this is our head, yeah? You've got your crown chakra here. Now, as we move up through this tube of light that takes us to this point, and we move up through here, there are what I would refer to as transmission centers, okay? The causal, soul star, stellar gateway, Christ self, and a number of others that go beyond, allow and filter the information at a more refined level, okay? Once the light comes in through here, and the light travels down through here, it has to be filtered several times over to allow it to come in to you slowly, smoothly, and efficiently. Because even once the light is filtered all up here, and it's come all the way down through here, once it gets to here, if there weren't these kind of transmission centers in the way to filter this stuff, again, it may be too much for you. So this has been designed and created and constructed perfectly. Now, up here you've got your crown chakra, and above here people say you've got your causal, which is slightly back a little bit, but you've also got two other transmission centers that are to the left and to the right of the causal, which are also perform the same function. So you could say you've got three transmission centers that we could call the causal, which some people refer to as causal chakras, but they're not. They're just transmission centers which are really part of our spiritual nervous system, okay? These control the flow of light, and they're so important. I've worked with lots of people from all over this planet, and I've healed lots of people, and when I've been working on people, I have not found any chakras above the body, okay? There are no energy centers above the body. What there are is transmission centers, okay? No chakras, transmission centers. And I really want you to kind of look into this yourself by going into your own heart and feeling this stuff, okay? Because this is truth, okay? And it's important that we get to know this stuff. So, we've got our activation chamber. And it's the in points. No male, no female. This is in, this is out. Okay? You've got this octahedron, which is for 3D. Spiritual protection. Now once you get to a certain space, I won't say level, but a certain space, you'll actually realise that there's nothing at all that can harm you. So there's nothing at all to fear or really protect yourself from. Once you become aware and conscious enough, you can put a stop to anything that's trying to interfere with your space. Okay? I've had not lots, but a number of psychic attacks from different beings within this space that we call the universe. And once you're aware, you can see them coming. Sometimes they'll sneak in and you might realise that you're feeling differently one day, a bit heavy, a bit this, and once your third eyesight's tuned in and your awareness is there and you're living in your heart, you can feel this stuff. You can see the implants that people are trying to manipulate with. There's different kind of light technologies that people are using to infiltrate our human system. But you can see this stuff. But you've got to start living in here. Up here, you're like fair game, you know? You're just like a deer walking through the bush, and you know, a hunter's there with his rifle, the deer's going to get picked off. It's not very nice, but this is truth, okay? So if you want to carry on being manipulated and have other things from somewhere in the space between the spaces affect you, then carry on eating McDonald's, Burger King, fast foods, sugary foods, starchy foods, packaged foods, carry on watching the TV, listen to the radio, keep allowing all of this destructive stuff into your environment. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. My advice to you is eat Mother Nature, eat green if you're going to eat anything, and remember, you're a tree, you're a plant, you're a flower, so water, oxygen and light. Light, light, light is the key. It's the order of the day. A light beam a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, forget about an apple. Light is important. So, you've got your activation chamber, 3D spiritual protection. You've got your Merkaba here. Your in point and your out point. This here is an oscillating chamber. Here you have the inner shell. Here you have the outer shell. This here is quite thick. To give you an idea, the distance from there to there is about 3 meters. Okay, it's pretty big, and it's a real strong, even though it's light, it's kind of robust. It's hard to explain. Okay, when you start tuning into this stuff, you're going to see this, you're going to know this, you're going to feel this. Okay, start to go deeper into here to discover all of this stuff. Okay, it's around you, you've just got to activate it. Okay, fire up this crystal in the right hand side of your brain, as crazy as that sounds. There are 36 beams of light that go around this cylinder. Here there are an infinite number of light beams that come off. But within that infinite number of light beams, there are 18 that are slightly thicker. Okay? Very important. Okay? 18 and 36. Okay? If you look at both of these numbers, they add up to 9. Okay? They're both 9s. Okay? If you're into your numerology, you'll understand this stuff. The number 9 also refers to, or relates back to, the pyramids. Okay, there are 3 levels in the pyramids. 3 is the square root of 9. It all links in. Everything is geometry, patterns, everything in this universe, electromagnetic. Our sun is a prime example. Okay, if you look at the sun with your third eye sight and you go deep into it, you're just going to find this flow of electromagnetic currents and streams of the same stuff, the same energetic frequency that runs through everything that runs through us. Okay, we are electromagnetic at the core. We're not these physical beings. What is it that runs us? What commands our nervous system? What commands us to put one foot in front of the other, to reach out and pick up a drink of water? You know, what enables me to hold this ruler in my hand, to draw with this pen? It's our brain and our nervous system. But what creates and triggers that? What is it? What commands the command center? Do you know? Can you put a finger on it? It's one of life's mysteries. But when you look into the core, deeply, at what we all are, you'll realize that we're just this cosmic web, this tapestry of light. And we're just consciousness. And consciousness is super intelligent. Okay? And it's what we are at the core. Everything is electromagnetic. This is to do with torsion fields and the power that is within torsion fields and the geometry that envelops this planet, this universe, this tapestry of light, this cosmic interconnectedness that I call a channeled network of light. It's like a web. It's like a web of magic that connects everything, everywhere, to all that is, and beyond, into the infinite depths of nothingness. Everything is connected. When we go into this further, you're going to see how there are lots of these. There aren't just one that surrounds you as a human being or me as a human being. Okay, there are a number of them, and how they all interface together, and how once they've all interfaced, how that actually connects to an extended light body and connects completely, flawlessly to the Christ consciousness grid that surrounds this planet, which consists of an icosahedron and a pentagonal dodecahedron, a 12 and a 20-sided shape. So this is kind of like a quick overview of the basic foundation of your 5th dimensional extraterrestrial light body that brings in these super powerful, high vibrational light waves. They're flooding the earth right now. When you activate this, you're going to be able to harness these on a grander scale. Okay? My mission is to share this information with people so they can activate their own. Okay? There's a huge one around the planet that's been constructed for many, many, many years, okay? Our planet is very, very old. Older than most people think. The history that we've been taught is a load of bullshit, okay? Start to tap into this stuff from here. This is the only way you're going to access it, okay? This is about love. This is about compassion. This is about ascension. Ascension is unconditional love, okay? Unconditional love for yourself. By loving yourself, you love everything. It's easier to love everything else in your environment than it is to love yourself, because as a human being, in this lifetime and for many, many, many other lifetimes, which are parallel realities in the now, you've been conditioned to believe. I don't like using the word believe, but to believe that you shouldn't take care of yourself, that it's not good to admire yourself and love yourself, but that's to distract you from the truth. The truth is that you are powerful, and when you start to love yourself and connect your mind to your heart and start to realize who and what you truly are at the core, which is the essence, the power, the love, the glue that holds everything in this universe together, you start to realize these superhuman powers that are within inside all of us, within inside our DNA. And this, my friend, is going to start to activate it. Okay? I'm going to start to share more videos over the next few weeks. Okay? Maybe the next one I'll do will be next month. I'm going to give people a bit of time, space to digest and play with this information. And when I feel guided and ready to share the next piece of the puzzle, I'm going to. You may discover it and know this stuff and remember this stuff before I share it. And if you do, that's awesome. Okay? I just want to pass this information on so that you can do what you see as fit with it. You might think it's a load of crazy talk, or you might do as I've suggested, journey into your heart and actually realize that this is the truth. Okay? We are extraterrestrial beings having a human experience. I love you with my heart, with my soul, with every fibre of my entire being. Please share these videos with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. Together we can make this world a much more harmonious place. Okay? Subscribe to this YouTube channel now. I'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for sharing. Take care. One love.